Hey, what's up, everybody? Tyson France with Small Account Strategies. Back with a real quick link video. I just wanted to sort of touch base on where we were at when I woke up this morning. I'm on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, United States. Woke up and Link was up over 6%, almost 8%, I believe. And I was super excited to see that. Because I was not expecting it to run back up and fill the top of this wedge here. It wasn't exactly looking great over the past few days, but then did one of its famous reversals. It did run all the way up to, well, right at $16. It tapped 16 and got rejected right there and got back below this pennant that it is forming. So, again, it did not confirm above where we needed to confirm for a breakout, but it does appear to be trying. On the new daily candle, which just started about a little over 3 hours ago, we ran up to about $15.35. But this is sort of the region that we're dealing with here. We're forming another pennant in Link. Just to give you some levels that we need to pay attention to. Again, it could very easily roll back over and test the bottom of this region. But if you sort of come back and look at this on the weekly, I think the picture becomes a little bit clearer. So we have this pennant that it's forming, as I mentioned. Last week, we had a pretty significant shakeout, which fell right in line with a historical uptrend that started back in September. So now we have three very definitive points along this line, which is what you want to confirm a trend. Now that we have that third touch right here, this is a pretty solid trend. Now it could break down at any point, but it's nice to see that third touch with a pretty long wick and then a test of this higher region. But if you ask me, this isn't necessarily the behavior of an asset that's about to roll over. Now, again, anything's possible. It could very, very easily come back and test like this region right here, between like, I don't know, $10.50 and like $12 or something like that. I have no idea. It could very easily test that region. But for it to have this strength to shoot back up and touch $16 again, break through this pennant downtrend, at least briefly, that's a pretty good amount of strength. So that's good, and we want to see that. But we are still range bound. We're stuck within this pennant, but we are running out of room. So we only have a couple more weeks before we have to make a decision whether or not we're going higher and lower. And that decision needs to be made by the end of January. We only have a couple more weeks to do that, because once we hit this point, we're wedged in here between this uptrend and this downtrend, and it's got to go one way or another. I guess it could technically break this trend and still stay within this pennant pattern. But anyway, some quick levels to keep an eye on. On the weekly, if we hang around this range, that's fine. I could see it coming down to, 15 or a little bit below, and then opening down here in this little area right here, and then having another weekly even lower. And then that next week, that first week of February, possibly breaking above that and then trying to get back up. That's one scenario. If by any chance Link does want to continue testing this week, if it were to close on Sunday, somewhere around the 1545 to 1550 range, right above this red line, if it closes above that and then we get a new weekly candle in this range, we can at least then try for a breakout. Because if it then tests back down to about 15 or so as support and holds that, then we've got a breakout on our hands, and it could be pretty significant at that. So that 1545 to 1550 range is what we want to be looking at. Anything below that, if Sunday rolls around, again, it would be 7 p.m. Eastern time, whatever time zone that is for you. if Link is somewhere around, the $15 range, and that next weekly candle opens, it'll likely come down and probably test low 14s, high 13s again, before maybe filling in this wedge completely, and then we need to decide whether or not to go higher or lower. But real quick pullback. Again, we still have our orange dotted line of resistance here, which I sort of consider the spine of the chart. Anything below this, we are still technically in a consolidation pattern, but once we finally break above this orange dotted line, it will be off to the races for Chainlink. So that will be something to celebrate. One thing worth noting is when we first tried to break through this downtrend back in, that was November 6th, that orange line was at about $16.60. It is now, if we were to try to break above that this week, it is now at about $16.40. So that's dropped about 20 cents. Again, with this being a downtrend line, it is a monotonically decreasing function. Of course, thank you to Ben Cohen of Into the Cryptoverse for that fantastic jargon. But I don't know that we necessarily break through here, and I kind of hope we don't, because I don't know. It's going to run out of gas if it tries to break through now. I would like to see it come up and at least try to break through, maybe spend a week here and then finally make its move. But, if we get another week or two, if we come all the way over to this current uptrend and we spend that final week trying to break through, that price is going to be somewhere around $16.35. So, again, this is a very shallow slope. It's not like, it's falling very, very quickly. The angle of attack here is pretty low on this downtrend, but, eventually it will break above this, at least hopefully. If we turn off all of our drawings here, I still say that Link's chart is one of the most interesting charts that I have ever looked at in my life. I've been trading for over 10 years now, and I've looked at a lot of charts, and I don't believe I've ever seen a chart quite like Chainlink's, especially with this massive consolidation region, and then the final shakeout right here with a massive rip up. And this could be the same situation. We were consolidating sideways for a while, and then we had a little bit of a dip right here, a little bit of a dip below our region, and that could have been all we needed. I don't know. It came all the way down to about 1250, somewhere right in there. That could have been the shakeout that we needed to go higher. So, fingers crossed on that. But that's our update on Chainlink. I don't think there's anything else necessarily to report. But, we'll check back in a few days and see where we're at. Until then, happy trading.